Is coming to address a nation that inflation is all-time high. A president is coming to address a nation that is unable to service their external debt. And the president is coming to address his colleagues who are in the age bracket of 80 years plus, whose investments have gone down the drain because of the haircut. And the president was just laughing, teasing, dabbling in irrelevant things. I think really and really, the president doesn't understand the mood of the country. He doesn't appreciate the excruciating levels of hardship. And it's as if, oh, let's just throw something in. It doesn't matter the accuracy. Let's just say something to excite the people or to get the media talking about something. I think we must move away from that level of politics, that level where we don't show sensitivity to the plight of the people we lead or we seek to lead. I think the president's mood should have been very solemn, trying to tell people that I understand where we are. I am just as unhappy as you can be in your respective homes and offices. And then we can say that maybe something is being done in the background. And
but do you not also consider the environment that he found himself? I mean, Parliament is a place where maybe when you're going to conduct some constitutional responsibility, the environment puts you in a certain state. It charges you.
To be joking.
No, I mean, don't use that word.
Okay.
I mean, both sides, minority, majority side, will create an environment that will sort of maybe corrupt you. I don't know.
Corrupt you how?
I don't know. In
so
such a
you're
way
suggesting the president was corrupted?
Oh no, well,
yeah, because no, you are a leader, and you'll be addressing Ghanaians through Parliament, and so even if parliamentarians, I mean, whatever Parliament does is part of their usual business, the heckling and all that. So we are used or accustomed to parliamentary proceedings, but you addressing the people, you saying that I have the ultimate responsibility at a time when citizens are facing high levels of hardship. I would think that the president's address came some few days after the Ghana Statistical Service had released a report that unemployment had moved from 13.9% to 14.7%. That food inflation is also at a very high level. And the data was suggesting that more than 60% of the earnings of your citizens are used on food. Not even basic needs, but food. Given that briefing, Annie, I don't think that the president should be dabbling in his personal attributes, qualities, joking as if he was talking to some kindergarten student, as if to say that, well, my bank account and that of my children are okay. We can't even appreciate what it feels like to be in need. And I think Addo should know better, because this was a man that I keep saying wore kambu and he wore one kambu. The kambu was not even a designer one. And he went to church stations, he went to chore bars, he was eating with them. He went to many places that we would say that they constitute the have-nots in society, and said that I understand your plight.
With that same kambu?
With that same kambu. You know, after they even framed the kambu. Really? His was not sneakers, it was kambu. There's a difference between sneakers. You know, so the people you went to, who are the church drivers, at a time when fuel was 14 cedis. Today they are having to buy fuel for more than 65 cedis. And so you should understand that at the time we said that 14 cedis was so bad, then at 65, it is worse. Because the state of the nation as we have today is that for the laborers he went to speak to and say that I understand your plight, at the time, cement was 27 cedis. Today, cement is 95 cedis. The Calipo challenge you were engaged in, many people could join you to do the Calipo challenge because Calipo was 1 cedi. Today, Calipo is 5 cedis. Sachet water is 50 pesos. And kenke is 5 cedis, moving from 1 cedi. So if the young people of this country should buy kenke and fish and buy pure water to drink, by the time he will start another Calipo challenge, he will not get a lot of people joining because Calipo is 5 cedis. Coconut, that's when you are moving and you get so tired, you want to take coconuts, which was 50 pesos and 1 cedi. It's now 5 cedis.
I hear a lot of people complain about Calipo. And I was wondering why, because it was a product that was used by the MPP to campaign. And I expected that the company would have cashed in, because, within that campaign period and boost their production, have more profits and not even, increase their prices. But why are they also competing with other products that were not mentioned? And they are Ghana, it's Ghana made, right?
Yes, it's Ghana made. Let's say that Calipo
The Punch TV.
And the company made maybe 5 million cedis profits. That 5 million cedis profits, they probably will be able to use it to take about $1 million at the time. Today, with that 5 million cedis, they can't even get $500,000. So the company's worth would have diminished. So maybe that's not even how businesses are run. But let's say that even if we were to use that analogy. So I'm saying that the mood of the president did not reflect a man who understands the plight of his people. The mood of the president did not show that he understands unemployment as a threat to the very survival of our nation. And for me, this is evident by one statement the president made, that all the macroeconomic indicators are moving in the right direction. You see, the entire speech, Annie, if you read it, would tell you that, one, Ghana is in the state of bankruptcy. It's evidence of the mismanagement. It is evidence of, hopelessness. And when you expect that the president will tell us something that will give us a bit of hope, the president doubled in lies. That's why the Bible says that you must be careful of the company you keep, because bad company can't corrupt good manners. Now we are finding lies in the president's speech, maybe because of his close association with Baumia. Because you see, it can never be true for anybody to say that Ghana's economy or the macroeconomic indicators are moving in the right direction. What are the macroeconomic indicators? For the sake of viewers, when we say macroeconomic indicators, there are a lot of indicators we use, but inflation is one, exchange rate is one, debt to GDP ratio is one, interest rate is one. So we look at these indicators to show whether your economy is doing well or bad. Now let me take inflation. If nothing at all, the baseline for this discussion must be 2016, because that is the economy that the NDC handed over to the NPP. At the time the NDC was handing over Ghana's economy to the NPP and their self-acclaimed economic whiskey, inflation was at 15.4%. Dr. Baumia held lectures and said that that kind of inflation was palpably bad to the extent that it can lead the economy to a cyclical downward spiral. Today, in 2022, you had an inflation of 54.7%. Today, as we speak, inflation is 23.7%. Food inflation is around 23.7% as well. And so you cannot say that inflation from 15.4 to 23 and above is better, and the economy is moving in the right direction. And we are having this discussion at a time when government is touting planting for food and jobs as a proper and major flagship program. Annie, if you engage in a policy like planting for food and jobs, and you move food inflation from 8.4% to 23%, and you still want to tell the people of Ghana that inflation or the macroeconomic indicator is in the right direction, then you don't know what you're talking about. I mean, if you sit in an economics class, normally in Ghana, when they are teaching you economics, they will say examples of inferior good. You will hear every student mention Gary. Why? Because we believe that Gary is so cheap that whether you increase the price or you decrease it, it really doesn't affect the demand and supply. Today, no teacher of economics can teach economics and use Gary as an inferior good. Because a loan car of Gary is 25 cedis from 5 cedis. So if you have planting for food and jobs, and Gary, which is money, my grandmother prepares Gary. Gary, which is done in the villages, is moving from 5 cedis for a loan car to 25 cedis. Then you cannot say that your macroeconomic indicators are moving in the right direction. Again, exchange rates, another macroeconomic indicator. This is a government that tagged President John Mahama as incompetent. They said that how on earth can we buy dollar for 3 cedi 80 pesos in 2015? Just last week, I shared Akosia Manu's post where she said that how on earth is 12 pounds 60 cedis. It means at the time the pounds was around 5 cedis. They just couldn't believe it. Today, the dollar to cedi is 13.2 pesos. 13 cedis, 20 pesos. If you happen to do online transaction, you'll be paying like 13.5. So how is it that the president can convince us that the exchange rate is in the right direction? Interest rates, at the time they were, saying President Mahama is incompetent, they were booking lectures, and then when the fundamentals are weak, the exchange rate will expose you. What was the interest rate? It was 25%. Admittedly, it was high. Today, we are doing 35 to 40%. What business would you be doing in Ghana that if you take a loan, you'll be able to meet the interest rate of 35 to 40% and even make profit? So when the president tells us that the economy and the macroeconomic indicators are in the right direction, Nana Addo certainly doesn't know what he's talking about. And Annie, the most painful part is that we are all here working. And we are all not living the life we want to live. We are trying our best to save. We are saving for the future. We are trying to put monies away. Even the small money you get, you do calculation and put some away. And you will work for you to be 60. Like our mothers, our fathers, our grandparents who have worked and they have to live on their investment, their pension funds. For the first time in the history of our country, their cash has been taken away. My friend's father died because the coupon, you know what happened to him? He had invested in Black Shield, the Gold Coast. He had in excess of over 500,000 cedis. Then when they collapsed the banking sectors, they gave him 50,000 cedis out of the 500 cedis cash and told him, out of the 500,000 cedis, and told him that use the 450,000.
The Punch TV.
We will pay you in 2022. And then when 2022 came, they said that money they cannot pay. And so my friend's father, who had worked, who had kept all his per diem in the fund, anytime he traveled, he said he will not buy things for himself. He will keep the per diem as part of the pensions fund, will contribute, even bought government bonds and other things. He died on a bed as a pauper. That is the state of our nation today. The people who have worked hard, invested their monies, cannot have access to their monies, their own rightful monies that they have invested, because the president cousin benefited so much from borrowing, and we are where we are. And if you have to come and address the state of the nation to the family of this person who died, you are telling them that the macroeconomic indicators are in the right direction. Who did this to us as a nation? Today, as we speak, the NPP itself has a research. National security has a research. Everything is showing that unemployment is a threat to the peace and security of this nation. That even for voters, unemployment is number 1 and corruption is number 2. The reasons why people will vote in the next election. When the president addressed the nation, he never mentioned a single thing about what government was doing to provide employment.
But maybe he is going out, so he doesn't really care whatever indicators are showing for the next election.
Yes, it's okay if he doesn't care.
Because those are the top 2.
It's okay if he doesn't care. Because we haven't, for me, I haven't even ever thought that he cared.
Oh, okay.
But what I'm saying is that if you didn't care, then let us know that you don't care. But do not come and tell us that the economy and our lives are in the right direction. And the very indicators that we use to measure whether or not we are in the right direction is actually showing we are in the wrong direction.
Yama owi akwa baba Mansa Media College. Mansa Media College a school power a TV so any radio so dwumadie. Ya so ye e wo Kumase atonsu. Baby a uwo bia o pese oba Mansa Media College a na be hu dwumadie yedi ne hono a yentie dwumadie yedi no Mansa Media College.
Say usua bribi wo media mu ana o pese ohunu bribi biara e fa media ho enso eche kra
Mansa Media College e wo homam
ye wo atwetwefo a wa kwadiri yie wa adetwe mu na in studio ni ye newsroom de editwam wonsam twemu no ye twe bribi ti se kasebo akenkan ni sinitwa ni bebura ekeka ho wo multimedia mu nso ye twe bribi ti se sini mfoni asiesie mfoni nitwa ni bebura ekeka ho ye betumi nso aboa ama wo de na otwepe asunya bribi wo nkitahodie adwuma ahodo nyinaa mu esan se ye wo yankasa foni nti abre biara ye ma ya adesuafo kwan ma okọ yode ya twerɛ won adesua dan mu no
ahwefo ehu ekame ese obi biara wo le bosomtwe ase enim abakosema efa nsuo ihu menya abofra kitu bi wo ha ono so se onim abakosema efa le bosomtwe ho
abusuafo ye mama kwaba eba Ghana Pages TV so emra so se ye the trending issues near koso ewo abe for time fidie ni so ebe somo midin na naje wa akode
Mansa Media College e ma o de o we hia bia wo nkutahodie mu